Well, Joe, just briefly back to the other night, and you talked about the sort of getting the attitude of the players right, but not stepping over the other line, not getting any more suspensions. Is that a conversation you've had, or is that something you're going to be doing later today?
Yeah, look, we're obviously aware. I think we've had 2 occasions where we've gone down to 9 men. Obviously, the last game Tuesday night, and the Colchester game before that. One for a kind of professional foul, which you accept as part and parcel of the game, and one where we need to be a bit more streetwise and not get involved in those situations. So it's disappointing because Port Vale a good side on a good run. With 10 men, we made a fist of it, and I think with 11 men, it would have been a real opportunity for us to knock off one of the kind of higher ranked teams in the division, and that's the most frustrating thing, and it's the discipline in those moments that has undone us. And it's hard enough this game when you play opposition teams because they can beat you, but at the moment we're doing an awful lot of silly things that are helping the opposition in a match, and we're beating ourselves certainly when it comes to going down to 10 men after 15, 16 minutes of a game. It's just schoolboy stuff and stuff we need to eradicate.
And is it the silly suspensions that are particularly annoying? Because players are going to miss time throughout a season, but is it more the avoidable ones that you're really focusing on?
Yeah, there's going to be times in the season where someone mistimes a tackle, or someone mistimes a jump for a ball and an arm catches someone or something. You're going to get that, but it's the stupid ones that really annoy you, because they handicap the team, and you miss players then for games in the aftermath of that. So as I say, they're really, really frustrating because they're avoidable, and we need to be better at that. And I think if we don't improve that area, then there's going to be games drifting away from us, because you just can't play with a numerical disadvantage for long spells in a game. 75 minutes of a game, a man down, you can't do it. It just can't be done.
Yeah, and you said you were going to appeal Sam Finley's red card. Has anything happened with that?
We appealed it, and almost as it blue ticked for the send, it was sent back with a rejection, which is they all back each other up. That they don't tend to, unless it's blatant and obvious. I mean, we fell from the other angle. The referee had said in his report it was an elbow, which you could see it wasn't off the replay. But they're a group that protect their own mistakes as well. The referees, they stick together, and it's going to fall on deaf ears. And as I say, they've got their own little group, and as quickly as it was sent in, it was rejected. So you have to appeal, because I think if the ref had the benefit of the replays that we had, VAR, he wouldn't have sent them off. But at this level, they have to almost compound the mistake by backing it up, because they have to stick together. So it's frustrating, but that's what happens when you've got part-time officials and people who work jobs and then turn up and referee games after they're on their exit from work. And unfortunately, it's tough enough when you see the Premier League lads, full-time referees who get stuff wrong, and then they get the power of VAR or replays on the side of the pitch to correct that. What chance have our lads got? They're already inferior based on the fact that they work a job during the week. They don't have the same amount of hours going in, and then they don't have the technological help to correct the decision. So I feel for the referees. I don't think it's easy for them. And as I said, you look at the Premier League lads and the amount of mistakes that they can make, but obviously they get the chance to rectify it because the technology is there to help them. At our level, the lads just don't. And the problem is, the game's meant to be officiated the same from top to bottom. They're the rules of football, that you should only have at the top level, what you can implement at a grassroots level. But obviously now with the finances at the top level of the game, you know, their operation is policed and officiated differently from our level of the game.
All of which leaves you a couple of players down for the game tomorrow. Have you got any good news, better news in terms of players who are coming back from injury?
No, I think we've got a couple back on the grass. Harvey Saunders, I think Anti's due back on the grass next week. We've got a few back on the grass. Junior Brown, but the game Saturday probably comes a little bit too soon for them. So it's good signs in terms of, you know, the injury list is clearing up a little bit. But as that's cleared up, obviously the suspension list has grown. So one step forward, one step backwards.
Yeah, it's been the way this season, hasn't it? And I was just looking at the fixture list going through, you know, into that Christmas period, and there's no easy games in any division, but you've got a bunch of games other than Sutton coming up, including this weekend, with teams sort of thereabouts around you in the table. Does that give you a chance to get a little bit of momentum if you can get on a roll?
No, we just got to take it one game at a time. We've got to turn up and beat Rochdale Saturday. Really good side. Obviously, they lost to Hartlepool, lost in the cup. And have drawn a few games in the interim, but I think they were 8 unbeaten in the league, even though they hadn't won a load. And it's just one game at a time. Look, the beauty of Division 4 in England is there's not any good teams. There's no good teams. You won't be in Division 4 if you're a good side. You're not, you know, the good sides playing the Champions League and in the Premier League. You know, even in the Championship, they're not good sides. They're okay. You know, everything's relative to the level you play at, and you can beat anybody. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day at this level because of the fact that the sides are so closely matched. So you can put strings and runs together without, you know, being at your absolute best and firing on all cylinders at this level due to the quality of opposition, you know. So for me, every game's winnable, whether you're playing the top teams or the bottom teams. We found some of the teams near the bottom a lot more difficult to play against than the sides near the top. Such as the close-knit level of quality between all the sides. You know, they're very, very closely matched. So we can beat anybody on our day, but we've only won 6 games in the first 20 league games. So it's just not good enough. You know, we want to be better. We were, I think, going okay and being, you know, when pulled out some decent results, but then never capitalised on a 2-0 victory, 2-0 lead against Tranmere, and never capitalised on, you know, being 1-0 up and dominant against Salford, who were reduced in numbers. And in the aftermath of that, we've lost the last 2 games against Forest Green, and obviously shot ourselves in the foot Tuesday night by going down to 10 men as early as we did. And Rochdale come in Saturday, and we need to be absolutely on it. We need everybody on it. We need to be disciplined. And if we execute, you know, you can beat anybody at these levels.